Most of what we have on this earth is made of three essential elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The ability of carbon to form long chains is what is responsible for the wide array of compounds around us. Diamond and graphite are two of the simplest examples of the ability of carbon to bond in different ways. Hi, this is Priya Venkatraman and you're watching Exam Special, where we help you study smart for your board exams. Today, we shall study carbon and its compounds under the unit Chemical Substances. But before we start our revision, let's look at what students find difficult in this topic.
The main problem I face is remembering the IUPAC names and the common names of the compounds. I usually mug it up. Also, the diagrams that are there are very difficult.
I usually have problems in forming the structures of the compounds, and I get confused between the names of the alkanes and alkynes, so it's kind of confusing.
Don't worry about those problems because they'll all disappear after we've gone through this episode. Before we start solving your problems, let's take a quick look at the expected breakup of questions and weightage of the chapter. The type of questions that are generally asked are very short answer type questions comprising nomenclature and covalency. There's also short answer type comprising reactions of carbon compounds and long answer type questions involving homologous series, saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds, and soaps and detergents. Do remember that throughout the episode, we will highlight the stepwise marking, so watch out for that. Alright, let's begin.
Give the names of the functional groups. CHO group, C double bond O group, CHO is aldehyde group, C double bond O is ketone group. Inside the water, the soap molecules have a unique orientation in which its clusters of molecules form a structure called a micelle. In the micelle, the ionic parts of soap molecules are towards the water and hydrocarbon chain tails away from water as shown in the diagram. The oily dirt is collected in the center of the micelle and gets entrapped into it. The micelles stay in water as colloids. Thus, dirt suspended in the micelles is easily rinsed away.
Let us now see the preparation of compounds with different functional groups.
Complete the following equations and write the names of the products formed. Sodium acetate plus sodium hydroxide on heating gives ethanol plus oxygen in alkaline potassium permanganate solution gives acetic acid plus ethanol in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid gives sodium acetate plus sodium hydroxide on heating gives methane and sodium carbonate. Ethanol plus oxygen in alkaline potassium permanganate solution gives acetic acid plus water. And acetic acid plus ethanol in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid gives ethyl ethanoate and water.
Now these are must-remember equations. In writing an equation, keep in mind that it should be balanced and the physical state of reactants and products should be written. Otherwise, you may lose marks. Alright, do you know what isomers are? They are molecules with the same chemical formula and often with the same kinds of chemical bonds between atoms, but in which the atoms are arranged differently. More on isomers coming up in the next question.
Write the names and draw the structural formulae of all the isomers of pentane. Pentane has 3 isomers: Normal pentane, consisting of a linear chain of carbon atoms. Isopentane, in which a carbon atom is attached to the second carbon in a linear chain of 4 atoms. Neopentane, in which 4 carbon atoms are bonded to a central carbon atom.
So those were the isomers of pentane. There are 2 types of isomers, structural and stereoisomers. They have the same connectivity, but the orientation in 3D space is different. With this, let's look at a question on functional groups.
Write the formulae for the given compounds and name the functional groups present in each of them. Ethanoic acid, propanol, nitromethane. The formulae of the given compounds are shown on the screen. The functional group present in ethanoic acid is carboxylic acid. In propanol, the functional group is a ketone, and that in nitromethane is a nitro group.
Time now to go to an expert for some tips.
Okay, in carbon compounds, it is actually the basic of organic chemistry which they are having. So they have naming of the compounds, they have the functional groups which are to be added over there. So they need to know them very thoroughly, because one is always linked to the other one. Okay, so if you don't know exactly where to add the functional group, and that comes only by practice.
Keep those pearls of wisdom in mind. Meanwhile, we'll take a short break. Welcome back to Exam Special. Before the break, we revised octet rule, functional group, hydrocarbons, homologous series, and the nomenclature of unsaturated hydrocarbons. Now it's time to look at the exam statistics over the past few years.
From the stats, it is clear that all types of questions except long answer type, having 5 marks for each question, are asked from these units. The recent years' trends emphasize on short answer type, that is, 2 or 3 marks for each question, and very short answer type.
Time to make note of the exam traps so that you don't lose marks unnecessarily.
The terms saturated and unsaturated sometimes create confusion. The unsaturated compounds are those which have double or triple bonds between 2 carbons only. During solving nomenclature question, the students sometimes add suffix like 1 and al, etc. without removing the suffix e of parent alkane. This leads to the incorrect name.
Having seen the exam statistics and the exam traps, let us now see the exam checklist.
Nomenclature of carbon compounds. Allotropes of carbon. Isomerism in various carbon compounds. Detergents and principle of cleaning. Esterification. Question related to property of acetic acid. Oxidation of alcohols. Oxidation of organic compounds. Covalent bonding and covalency in carbons. Definition and identification of the functional group.
Keep in mind the exam checklist and prepare accordingly. Time now to say goodbye. Just remember, what's a diamond but coal that withstood pressure? So study hard, sleep well, and love all the pressure.